We're now more than a week into the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, and with each passing day, there are no indications of peace ensuing anytime soon. This as the offensive continues on both sides and by both sides. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that their retaliation is just a quote-unquote beginning in the long fight against Hamas. Meanwhile, human suffering continues and the death toll keeps on rising. So far, over 1,900 Palestinians have lost their lives and at least 1,300 Israelis have been killed.
To move north, to move south and evacuate themselves to this place here, the Gaza River, in order to be safer and in order to not be in an area where we are going to enhance our military.
In the latest, the Israeli Defense Forces in a briefing has said that their aim is very clear, which is to end state of this war by dismantling Hamas. They expressed hope that Palestinians will evacuate North Gaza as quickly as possible for their safety. IDF said that situation on northern border with Hezbollah is also very tense. New documents have surfaced that reveals that the militant group Hamas intentionally targeted elementary schools and a youth center in the Israeli kibbutz region. This was done to kill as many people as possible, seize hostages and quickly move them into the Gaza Strip. As revealed by NBC News, these documents, which are labeled as top secret, include detailed maps that show how the group planned to surround and infiltrate these areas. Meanwhile, thousands of people are now fleeing from northern Gaza to the south as they face an Israeli deadline for evacuating the area before an expected ground offensive against Hamas. More than 1 million Gazans were ordered to relocate within 24 hours on Friday. United Nations says it is horrified by this Israeli demand, and it is essential for the Israeli authorities to protect all civilians. On the other hand, Israeli strikes continue to pound Gaza. Israeli Defense Forces have shared footage. It shows their continued strikes on the alleged Hamas targets in Gaza. And they have also released another footage which shows rockets being launched from Gaza towards Israel. The IDF has also shared that they have attacked a Hezbollah target in southern Lebanon just hours ago. Meanwhile, a Reuters news agency videographer has been killed in the southern Lebanon. The incident took place when missiles fired from the direction of Israel struck him. Israel's envoy to the United Nations has said the country will investigate what caused the journalist's death. New videos have also emerged showing the gruesome attacks Hamas mounted last Saturday that triggered the war. A Hamas recorded video shows militants at the site of the Nova Music Festival in Israel's Raim. Militants can be seen arriving at the site and later shooting at portable toilets. At least 260 festival goers were killed in the Hamas attack that ensued there. Hamas has also released a video showing militants with captive Israeli children during the armed group's weekend cross-border rampage from the Gaza Strip. Militants can be seen bandaging the foot of an Israeli child, while others carried infants. The video is suspected to be from Israel's kibbutz Holit. There was no indication as to what the status of the captive children's parents or guardians was. Efforts are also growing to bring an end to the fighting and avoid a spillover. The United Nations Security Council convened a meeting on the ongoing situation on Friday. UN chief says the situation in Gaza has reached a dangerously new low. This as the Israeli siege has left them without food, fuel and electricity. Russia, in the meantime, has proposed a draft United Nations Security Council resolution on the conflict that calls for a humanitarian ceasefire and condemns violence against civilians and all acts of terrorism. Speaking of international diplomatic efforts, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken continues his West Asia trip to engage regional partners and avoid the conflict spreading. He has now landed in Saudi Arabia, where he will meet with Saudi partners to discuss the situation. He was earlier in Bahrain, where he met the country's king and prime minister. In Qatar, he met with Qatari Emir, country's prime minister and foreign minister. Speaking in Doha, Blinken said there can be no more business as usual with Palestinian militant group Hamas. However, Qatari prime minister signaled that Qatar would not be closing the Hamas political office. He said the office was used for the purposes of communicating and bringing peace to the region. Blinken has expanded his trip from Israel and Jordan to include all of the Gulf Arab countries and Egypt.
Very busy. Well, all of us are busy now.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.